What am I talking about? What are the four major operations? Adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. When I say integers, what am I talking about? Good. Yes, whole numbers, whole numbers. So anything you see on the number line over there, any whole numbers, right? And there's infinitely many integers, right? But integers do not include something like a fraction or a decimal, right? Those are not integers, just our whole numbers, okay? That's what we're talking about. So I'm going to go through these rules with you real quick. I'm sure you've learned them in the past. Right? So when we're adding integers and they have the same sign, we are going to add the value of the numbers and keep the sign. If we have different signs, we're going to subtract the value of the number and keep the sign of the larger one. Let's look at some examples of that. We got -7 plus -2. Do those numbers have the same sign or different signs? Same sign. So that means I'm going to add the values of the numbers. So it's 7 plus 2. 9. And then I got to keep the sign. Those are both negative, so my answer is going to be negative. Right? And then again, I've got +7 plus +2. Same or different signs? Same. So again, I add 7 and 2 is 9 again, and I keep the same sign, so this remains positive. And what if I've got this, -7 plus 2? Same or different signs? Different. So I need to subtract the value of the numbers. So what's 7 minus 2? 5. And I keep the sign of the larger one. So which one is larger, 7 or 2? 7. So it's -5. And then just the opposite, 7 plus -2. So these have different signs, right? So I got to subtract. 7 minus 2 gives me 5. And I keep the sign of the larger one. 7 is still larger than 2, but 7 is positive in this one, so my answer stays positive. And just my little spiel on this, I don't know, I don't remember ever learning like rules on this. I think it's something that like the more you practice math, the better you get at being fluent at understanding how numbers work together. So it's nice to have these rules to go back to and remind yourself of, but in reality, the goal here is to like, when you hear -7 plus -2, you can picture something in your mind and you can just like, you know that it's -9. And what I always go back to when I'm like, especially adding and subtracting like positive and negative numbers, I think about money a lot, because negatives can get kind of weird and they're, you know, it's not something like physically I can show you -2 the way that I can show you +2, right? But with money, any debt is a negative, any money like in your bank account is a positive, right? So if I've got -7 plus -2, I think about it like Wyatt borrows $7 from me one day, and then the next day he comes back and borrows $2 more. That means that he's going further into debt, right? So now he has -9. He owes me $9, right? Versus -7 plus 2, right? If Dylan borrows $7 from me one day and then the next day he comes back and he pays me back $2, he's going less into debt, so it's less negative. -7 plus 2 is -5. He only owes me $5 more, right? So that's how I think about it a lot. That's how I explain it a lot. But again, our goal here is to just become a little more fluent with the way we understand numbers, right? Because that's what's actually going to help us in the real world, not like regurgitating really random rules. Yeah, it's actually like the application. Okay. But that being said, we're going to keep going through our rules just so we're all understanding. Okay. So now when we're subtracting numbers, we're going to do keep, flip, change. So keep the first sign, flip the subtraction sign, bless you, to addition, and then change the sign of the second number. Okay. So if I've got this, -9 minus -4. I keep the sign of the first one, so it stays -9. I flip subtraction to addition, and I change the sign of the second number. So that becomes -9 plus 4. And now I have an addition problem where each number has a different sign. So I need to subtract the value of the numbers. So what's 9 minus 4? 5, and I keep the sign of the larger one. So what's larger, 9 or 4? 9, so I keep that as negative. Okay? And then let's look at this. -9 minus 4. Because it was -9 minus a -4. And we needed to flip the subtraction sign to a positive and then change the sign of the second number from negative to positive. So it became plus plus. I mean, you could erase it and just write 1 plus if you want to, but does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, now I've got this one, -9 minus 4. Again, I keep the first sign, flip subtraction to addition, and then change the sign of the second number. Yeah? So now I've got -9 plus -4. So that's an addition problem where both numbers have the same sign. So I need to add the value of the numbers. What's 9 plus 4? 13. But then I keep the sign the same, so it becomes -13. Okay. And then, this is silly, but if I've got 9 minus 4, feels really ridiculous to go through keep, flip, change for just like a regular subtraction problem. So what's 9 minus 4?
I think I got this one.
What? What is it? 5. Thank you. You see me.
I was confident.
Okay.
No.
You can do it. You can. Like, watch. I keep the first sign, flip subtraction to addition, and then change the sign of the second one. It's the same thing. So you're just, and that's where I feel like a lot of these rules like overcomplicate things. I think if you just sit there and think about it for a second, you look at the number line, you draw a picture, you can think your way through it and get through it easier than like going back to rules. You know what I mean? That's my thought on it. Plus, you have a calculator that you can always use. And let me just show you really, really quick how to put in negative numbers into your calculator. So if I want to do 9 plus -4, I see a whole bunch of people do this. 9 plus -4. And then they hit enter and they get an error. What's wrong with that? Huh? So let's try putting parentheses around it. 9 plus -4. Ah, error again. What's wrong? Yes, this is the subtraction sign. Subtraction sign. You need to use the negative sign. The negative sign. So 9 plus -4 will give me the right answer. Cool. And you could put parentheses around that too, but it's not necessary. Cool? Yeah? What's wrong? Okay. Then multiplication and division is super easy. If we have the same signs, the product is positive. Different signs, product is negative, right? So if I've got 4 times 2, what do I get? 8, right? Those have the same sign, so my product is positive. Same with if I have -4 times -2, what do I get? 8 again. But if I have different signs like +4 times -2, what do I get? -8. Yeah? And then same thing with division. Same signs, quotient is positive. Different signs, quotient is negative. So let's see if we've got 15 divided by 3, same signs. What do I get? 15 divided by 3? 5. And if I have -15 divided by -3, what do I get? 5, right? Same signs give you a positive quotient. And then different signs, if I have +15 divided by -3, what do I get? -5. Different signs, negative quotient. Cool? All right, and then one other little thing, evaluating expressions. Evaluating expressions. So that's going to be something like if I tell you A equals 7 and B equals 4, what is 3A minus 2B? Right? So our first step is we are going to substitute the number in for the given variable. So that means I'm going to plug in 7 for A, and I'm going to plug in 4 for B. So does that mean I'm going to end up like this? I get 37 minus 24. Is that what happens? No, what happens? Right, it's multiplication. So that's your next step. You want to use parentheses around the number that's being substituted, right? So yeah, and that just means multiplication. So 3 times 7 gives me what? 21. And minus 2 times 4 gives me 8. What's 21 minus 8? Good, 13, right? And our last step is just apply order of operations to simplify the expression. That's it. All right, let's talk order of operations very, very quickly. Again, I recognize this is review for most of you. When we're working through an expression, we always want to read it and work left to right, right? Left to right. And our little mnemonic device is PEMDAS, right? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I don't know, I learned purple elephants marching down a street. Anyone else learn anything? Anything else? No? That's all we got? Okay. Well, you can write those down if you want to. You don't have to. Well, let's just talk through. What does P stand for? Parentheses. E stands for? Exponents. M stands for? Multiplication. D? Division. A? Addition. And S, excuse me, subtraction. Excellent. All right, so let's do a few practice problems here. So in this first one, what is my first step? Yeah, multiplication, 7 times 6, what does that give me? 42. And then my next step is 42 divided by 3. What's 42 divided by 3? Good. And then last, addition. It's 3 plus 14 gives me what? 17, and that's my answer. Cool? So when you see things that say evaluate the expression, this is what it wants you to do, right? Simplify it down to one number. All right, let's look at the next one. What's my first step? The parentheses, 6 times 4 gives me 24. And then what comes next? Division. 24 divided by 3 is 8. And then what comes next? Addition. Not addition, no. What comes next? Yeah, the subtraction. So we go left to right. I don't know when they changed it or who changed it or why, but when I learned order of operations, we learned it where you do addition first and then subtraction. Yeah, I don't know what, but like the ruling is it's multiplication and division kind of go together and you just work left to right. Yeah, it doesn't, not all the time. Not all the time, but sometimes. I'm not going to think of an example off the top of my head, but it works. Like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But the rule is you go left to right with addition and subtraction, and left to right with multiplication and division. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So if you did addition first, you would get 8, and then 8 minus 8 is 0. But that's not the answer. We do 8 minus 6, which is 4. And then we got 4 plus 2 gives us. Oh my gosh, sorry. I did that earlier too. I don't know what's wrong with me. What's 8 minus 6? 2. Thank you.
Sorry.
It's okay. And 2 plus 2 is 4, and that's my answer. Yeah, because it goes first left to right. Yeah, exactly. That's funny that some of you learned it that way too. I don't know when this, who, the math council is that decides these things, but anyway. Okay, last one. What's my first step? Exponents. What's 2 squared? 4. Okay, and then what comes next? Yes. 4 times 3, or 4 times 9 is 36. Divided by 3 gives me 12. Woohoo. And that's it. Cool?